Welcome to the Transforming Your City radio program with popular leadership expert, author, speaker, mentor, minister, coach Dr. Dave Robinson. Since 1966, Dr. Dave Robinson has been developing leadership and management skills both in the church world and in the marketplace. He and his wife, Marie, have been married since 1968. They have 3 children, 8 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. They've called Chicago home since 1979. Since 2005, Dave has served as a full-time executive leadership coach for leaders in the church, business, government, and education. He travels in the USA and oversees more than 250 days each year, helping leaders improve their skills and seeing their vision become a reality. He's authored 4 books on leadership and publishes a monthly e-news article read by more than 40,000 people in over 30 nations. In today's Transforming Your City radio program, leadership coach Dr. Dave Robinson tackles the 3 key leadership questions necessary to affect change in your life and in your city. What do you want? What do you have? And what is your plan to close the gap from what you have to what you want? This is where coaching begins, transforming your city. Now, here's Coach Dave Robinson, Ph.D.
Hello, I'm Dave Robinson. Welcome to Transforming Your City through Marketplace Leaders right here on AM 1160, Hope for Your Life. This is a show that helps you understand how marketplace ministers use their Ephesians 4:1 calling to extend God's kingdom by bringing transformation to their city. Our team is committed to helping you develop your leadership skills and provide greater value to your marketplace ministry. Stay tuned. We have a great show for you today.
And now let's check the coach's clipboard. Leadership coach Dr. Dave Robinson shares what's on his heart, giving you a fresh insight and revelation into transforming your city.
On the coach's clipboard, I share my passion for the need to transform cities. Your city and every city is influenced by 3 entities that make up the marketplace. The business community, they pay for everything by the wealth they create. The governments, they control everything by the laws and regulations they legislate. The educational institutions, starting at the university level, determine the values and philosophies that business and government leaders use every day. For any city to be transformed, the church in that city must unify and infiltrate those 3 entities, bring real value, and then allow God's favor to elevate them to positions of influence. Here's my tip for today. I want to talk a little bit about the greatest leader who ever lived. No, it's the greatest leader who ever lives. He still lives today, and we're talking about Jesus. There are 4 plaques that have hung in my office for years. They display the following quotes from 4 famous leaders. The quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. That was by NFL coaching legend Vince Lombardi. In the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. That was Albert Einstein, the great scientist. The third one is the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. That was by Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of England during World War II. And the last one is things may come to those who wait, but only things left by those who hustle. That was by former President Abraham Lincoln. If we're going to influence the marketplace, it's going to take great leaders and great leadership. That's not by accidents or coincidence. It comes as a result of years in the crucible of life fastened with perseverance. It's not quitting when everybody else is. Leadership is everyone's business and responsibility. In the marketplace, you either lead people closer to Christ or further away by how you live there. In the local church where you attend, you either lead others closer to the vision or further away by how you behave there. Leadership is not about election, positions, or titles. Leadership is many things, but great leadership is all about having an attitude of servanthood and a sense of responsibility for making a positive difference every day where God has assigned you. Jesus was the greatest leader and developer of people in the marketplace. He recruited 12 unlikely marketplace businessmen. He trained them and sent them on the greatest mission known to mankind, making disciples of all nations. Jesus' leadership style was strong in 3 areas. First, he modeled personal excellence. He required nothing of others. He did not demand of himself. Until you master personal excellence, you'll never master anything else with excellence. Second, he had a plan. Jesus had a plan based on his purpose. All great leaders have a plan based on their goals for the future, whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, or 5 years from now. Third, he took action. Jesus not only had a plan, he acted on it. As with all great leaders, when Jesus arrived, action took place because every great leader has a bias for action. There were three things that characterized Jesus' excellence in his relationships. First, it says, he beheld the man and fully looked at him and loved him. If you want acceptance and promotion in the marketplace, then learn to behold people as Jesus did. He gave them a vision larger than themselves that would outlast their lifetime. He always gave people something to live for. Jesus empowered people. He empowered the church as a whole in the day of Pentecost. He also empowered individuals as a way of life. Today's entitlement society says, give me, but don't empower me. Jesus was the greatest leader who ever walked in the marketplace of ideas and people. He was the essence of excellence as a person, not only by the actions he took, but the way he made people feel about themselves, but also by his manifested presence. If we're going to have influence in our marketplace assignment, our calling, our ministry, there's no better example to follow and model than the life of Jesus. Jesus was the greatest leader who ever lives. He lives today in the hearts of all those who call upon his name. Every Christian should be the manifested presence of Jesus Christ in the marketplace every day. I pray that that is your prayer as you leave your car every day and go to the ministry assignment that Jesus has for you.
It's the Coach's Playbook. Dave Robinson travels more than 250 days each year coaching globally to help transform cities and nations. With his effective teaching style, Dave presents today's leadership moment highly relevant for you and your city.
Hello, I'm Coach Dave Robinson, and the Coach's Playbook this week is an excerpt from the first of a couple sessions that I presented in Reston, Virginia, to nearly 300 marketplace leaders gathered at the Fellowship's 2016 Advanced Conference. Talking about marketplace and now transforming your city. My passion for the last 11 years, I walked away from the RV dealership that our family owned from 2002 to 2005. We had 37 employees, and we did $13 million our first year, about 7 months that year. The second year we did $25 million, third year $40 million, and well on our way when God shifted our direction totally. And as I sat in my study talking about, Lord, what do you want me to do next? Do you want me to go back and take a church? Do you want me to start another business? What do you want me? I was reading just in my devotionals. I like to read through the four Gospels in one setting at times. It's like four men show up at a fire and they all have a little different take on what they saw. And that morning I was just overwhelmed with Mark's passion for evangelism and Matthew's passion for discipleship. And I read that scripture that morning, make disciples of all nations. And I just thought it was ironic what Mark said this morning. Mark Batterson's wife and our kids all grew up together at PK camp. For you that don't know what PK camp, that's Preacher's Kids Camp together. And he used that, discipling nations. And I said, Lord, the church I grew up in a pastor's home and pastored almost right at 40 years. I said, we struggle making them one at a time. How do we disciple an entire nation? And that ended up being a 6-hour discussion, out of which this book, Idle in the Marketplace at the 11th Hour, came to be. Out of that 6-hour discussion that day, I saw in Matthew chapter 20, verse 6, of which this is a direct quote. You know the story. He went out the 3rd hour, the 6th hour, the 9th hour. The obvious, if you've ever taken IQ tests, the 4th number should have been the 12th hour. But he changed and it said the 11th hour, which means we still have a window of time to accomplish what God has called us to do. And he said, I want you to read Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and I want you to read it from a discipleship perspective. And when I did that, he said that I brought Israel out of Egypt and took them on a 40-year journey. He said, you were the global missions director for 8 years for the fellowship. He said, but you ask them and they'll tell you, if I just had more money, I could do more things. God says money has never been the church's problem. Money is the church's answer, but it's not the problem. He said most of the church that needs more money, I have plenty of it and I'll give it to them. But they need to fix their issues before I give it to them. And the text was Ecclesiastes 10:19, money answereth all things. Now, it was written by a backslidden king, but it still made the canon of Scripture. Our forefathers thought it ought to be included. And he said they actually went to house the night before they left and asked for it, because we're going on a journey. He said, I discipled them for that 40 years through the wilderness, but they confused their destination with their destiny. He said they thought their destiny was to get to the promised land, which was not their destiny. It was their destination, from which their destiny to be a kingdom of priests going throughout the earth, discipling the nations. He said, look at Exodus 19, verse 6. You shall be for me a kingdom of priests. Look at 1 Peter 2. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. Now read Revelation 1 and Revelation 5. You have been for me a kingdom of priests.
I hope you enjoyed the Coach's Playbook. We'll be right back with our Ask the Marketplace leaders, and we'll visit with Dennis Nissley of Christ in Action, who I recently had a chance to visit with. His organization, as I did the interview, was providing relief to families in West Virginia following the floods in July 2016.
Thanks for tuning in to Transforming Your City with popular leadership expert, author, speaker, mentor, minister, coach, Dr. Dave Robinson. The second half of this week's program is right around the corner. Since 1966, Dr. Dave Robinson has been developing leadership and management skills both in the church world and in the marketplace. He's a full-time executive coach for leaders in church, business, government, and education, traveling more than 250 days each year in the USA and overseas. Now you can receive Dave's monthly Transforming Your City e-news, read by more than 40,000 people in over 30 nations, free of charge. Visit transformingyourcity.com and sign up today. All we ask for is your email address, nothing more. Visit transformingyourcity.com. That's transformingyourcity.com, and get on the Coach's e-news team today. It's time to get to work transforming your city. Idle in the Marketplace at the 11th hour is the popular must-read from Dr. Dave Robinson concerning the church's most important mandate. Connect with Coach Dave. Become a member of the team at transformingyourcity.com. With your donation of any amount, you'll have online access to the Idle in the Marketplace audiobook. For your contribution of $35 or more, we'll include a print version as well. Perfect for highlighting and taking notes, plus a print copy of Dave's popular 100 Leadership Nuggets, the perfect guide for those who want to lead well. Your gift will help Transforming Your City impact lives globally for the kingdom. And Transforming Your City is part of E41 Marketplace Ministries. Visit transformingyourcity.com today and look for Idle in the Marketplace offer. That's transformingyourcity.com. Here's our toll-free number, 844-706-1444. That's 844-706-1444. Toll-free 844-706-1444. transformingyourcity.com.
You're listening to Dave Robinson's Transforming Your City radio program. We appreciate your being part of the Transforming Your City movement. Leadership coach Dave Robinson's fervent hope is to help you as you reach your own full potential as a marketing leader who's fully involved in transforming your city. That's why connecting with Coach Dave is such an important step. Visit transformingyourcity.com. That's transformingyourcity.com. While there, make sure to sign up on the homepage for your free email subscription to Coach Dave's monthly Transforming Your City e-magazine. Sign up soon, because Coach Dave is launching a series of Transforming Your City equipping events. We'd love to see you at one of our upcoming events. Want to learn more about the Transforming Your City one-day equipping events? Give our Transforming Your City's offices a call toll-free at 844-706-1444. That's 844-706-1444. Or email us at dave@transformingyourcity.com. That's transformingyourcity.com.
Transforming Your City with Dr. Dave Robinson. What do you want? What do you have? And what is your plan to close the gap from what you have to what you want? This is where coaching begins, transforming your city. Now, here's Coach Dave Robinson, PhD. Ask the Marketplace Leaders. In the course of his travels, Dr. Dave Robinson connects with leaders in all areas of influence, business, government, and church, and invites experts to join him in this segment. Let's learn from leadership that will help you transform your city.
Hi, I'm Coach Dave Robinson. In the Ask Marketplace Leader segment today, we reach for an excellent interview that I did with Dennis and Sandy Nissley in Reston, Virginia at this year's Advanced Conference of the Fellowship. Denny heads up Christ in Action, a great ministry there in Manassas, Virginia. On the program with me today is Denny and Sandy Nissley, longtime friends, and welcome. Glad you're with us today. If we're going to reach our cities, how many of those that are in the Christian body should be in full-time ministry, and where has been the disconnect in the church through the years?
Well, I believe that once you pray a prayer and ask Jesus to be Lord of your life and take control of your life, I believe that's when you enter into the full-time ministry. And I know I did, because I was a drug addict. I was strung out on drugs and alcohol back in the late 60s, early 70s. And I know that the next day I was out with all my drug friends and I was telling them about Jesus because it was so awesome. And I would tell everybody I knew what God had done for me. And I believe that that's all we need to do when we get saved, is start telling people what happened. We don't have to know all about God. We just have to know God. And that's the mistake that the people make when they're sitting in their pews, when they're sitting there thinking, gee, I wish I could be used by God. They could be used by God right then, right there.
Sandy, why don't you share a little bit about how you view full-time ministry versus, I guess it's part-time sometimes when I have time, but what do we say to people who struggle with that issue, who are sincere, but we're certainly not winning our country right now? So talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, there's a lot of opinions about it, but my personal opinion is that for every one pulpit, there's a whole bunch more marketplace. And so that provides a huge opportunity for people to be involved, to share what they believe, to speak what they believe, to do what they believe, and shine that light. And then that as that light shines, it draws men to Jesus.
Denny, you said earlier today in talking to some people prior to coming on the program, you have 9,000 people or volunteers on your database. Talk to us a little bit about what Christ in Action is doing right now in West Virginia and some of the other places that you've been.
Yeah, we have a couple $1 million worth of equipment, and we rolled out to West Virginia. They have the floods that are going on there. We're in Greenbrier County and White Sulphur Springs, and they don't have water. So we have semi-trucks that have tankers behind them, and we're tanking in fresh water. We have a tractor trailer that we can do. It's a mobile shower unit, and we took it out there for everybody in the community to come and be able to take a shower. We can cook and serve about 15,000 meals a day, and we have porta potty trailers, portable toilets that we've taken out. And then we go into people's homes. If they've had flooding, we take out their wet furniture, we tear up their floors, we tear out their sheetrock and insulation, and get their home ready to put back together following. And this is all done by quote-unquote non-full-time ministers, but they are full-time because while they're there tearing out sheetrock, they're looking at the homeowners and they're putting down their tools and they're sitting down and they're just hearing the story of the homeowners, or maybe a neighbor will come across and say, what are you all doing? And they'll explain to them, and they'll sit down and they'll hear the story of the neighbor, and they'll start sharing Christ with that neighbor, and then they'll say, oh yes, we can help your home too. And we go in there and help it. The people that come, we have hundreds of people coming every day taking showers in our. They don't have water in the community, so they're taking showers at our showers. And some people just walk away, and we tell them, hey, God loves you. And some of them will stop and they'll engage in a conversation with our volunteers. And those 9,000 volunteers, I would say less than 500 of them are what we would consider full-time ministry. They are marketplace ministers. They're salesmen, they're waiters and waitresses, they're clerks, they're all the people that work in communities that when we deploy, they take time off of work and they come at their own expense. And when they get there, we house them and feed them for free. And we put them to work, and they help some of these people are so technical, they run a yard rake. They rake these people's yards, and when they're raking the yard, the neighbors come over and they say, so who are you? How do you know these people? And they say, well, I don't know them. And Sandy's always telling people that, we've come all this way for free to help somebody that we don't know. And they say, why have you done that? And we say, so that you would ask that question.
I trust you enjoyed our time today with Dennis and Sandy Nissley, great longtime friends who have a great ministry called Christ in Action. I first went with Dennis to Mardi Gras many years ago and preached on the streets. For many years, Dennis was one of the greatest street evangelists in America.
It's time to Ask the Coach. In this segment, Dr. Dave Robinson goes to the phone, social media, and emails to answer questions directly coming in from thousands of weekly listeners to Transforming Your City.
Hi, I'm Coach Dave Robinson, and did you know that we just launched our Transforming Your City Facebook page? You can reach it at facebook.com/Transforming Your City, or just use the Facebook link from transformingyourcity.com. I'd like to invite you to like the page and share it with your friends. We have a lot of great coaching materials that we'll be sharing as we go forward, and I believe it will be a great resource for you as you do marketplace ministry and as a leader in the marketplace. In today's Ask the Coach's Corner, I want to respond to a question that did come up on the Facebook page from a listener, and let me read that question to you. I don't regularly attend church often, though I do watch Christian TV programs and go online for inspiration. How could I be a part of and or help my city through marketplace leadership? You say you don't attend church. God never instructs us to attend church. However, he did in Hebrews 10:25 say, don't forsake the assembling of ourselves together. People often ask me, do you go to church? My usual response is, I am the church. Where do you want me to go? I am submitted to a pastor, and I do attend a local church when I'm not traveling. I understand your statement. Going to church doesn't make you a Christian, but if you fail to assemble together with other Christians, you will never be all that God intended you to be according to the verse that I just quoted and many more I could have quoted. Everyone's flesh needs to be submitted to spiritual authority and other Christians on a regular basis. Who will hold us accountable and take responsibility for our spirit and emotional growth? For the moment, until you find a body of mature believers to join, you can make a difference in the marketplace. First, by praying and believing God every day for divine appointments, opportunities to minister life and hope to those in darkness all around you. Second, become a kingdom-minded Christian, not just a believer. God has you in the marketplace, not just to work there and provide for your needs, but you're there to extend the values of God's kingdom through your circles of influence. I'm agreeing with you today for a loving body of believers to come alongside you and help you fulfill your great God-given destiny today. Even though you may not have a church to go to today, I pray that God will send the church to you wherever you are every day of your life. Many people who have dropped out of the institutional church have found that that's not all it's cracked up to be either. We need people. Barbara Streisand, I believe people who need people are the luckiest people in the world. And so I pray today that God will send you just the right person.
It's time to get to work transforming your city. Idle in the Marketplace at the 11th hour is the popular must-read from Dr. Dave Robinson concerning the church's most important mandate. Connect with Coach Dave. Become a member of the team at transformingyourcity.com. With your donation of any amount, you'll have online access to the Idle in the Marketplace audiobook. For your contribution of $35 or more, we'll include a print version as well. Perfect for highlighting and taking notes, plus a print copy of Dave's popular 100 Leadership Nuggets, the perfect guide for those who want to lead well. Your gift will help Transforming Your City impact lives globally for the kingdom. And Transforming Your City is part of E41 Marketplace Ministries. Visit transformingyourcity.com today and look for Idle in the Marketplace offer. That's transformingyourcity.com. Here's our toll-free number, 844-706-1444. That's 844-706-1444. Toll-free 844-706-1444. transformingyourcity.com.
Thanks for tuning in today. I pray our time together was helpful to you and your marketplace leadership efforts. I pray the church in your city is committed to possessing the places of influence and seeing God's kingdom established. If I can help you in any way with your leadership challenges and seeing your city transformed, please call me at 844-704-1444. Till next time, I call you blessed in Jesus' name.
You've been listening to the Transforming Your City radio program with popular leadership expert, author, speaker, mentor, minister, Coach Dr. Dave Robinson. For more information on transforming your city, visit us on the web, transformingyourcity.com. That's transformingyourcity.com. Or give us a call toll-free at 844-706-1444. Again, that's 844-706-1444. Toll-free, 844-706-1444. Transforming Your City is powered by E41 Marketplace Ministries and the Fellowship. Visit us online at transformingyourcity.com.